Welcome to The Right Perspective. I'm Justin, and it's right here that you're going to find a common sense and rational thinking approach to current political affairs and current events. Now, a huge movement is making its way across America at the moment, and we're going to see the impacts of that after the November elections over there. This movement is about government politics, it's about honesty, it's about small government, it's about less spending and less taxes. And it started at the grassroots level, from the people. America have just about had enough with their socialist politics, and I think it's about time that Australians have had enough as well. Did you know there's an election on in about a month's time, November the 27th? The deafening silence is amazing, isn't it? It's just amazing. On one hand, we've got John Brumby and his team and their fine record. We've got the public transport, Mikey. We've got the desal plant. It's pretty wet at the moment. And we've got the planning fiasco as well. Justin Madden and the Windsor Hotel, amongst a few other things. Who have we got on the other side? Who have we got? Oh, we've got Ted. We've got Ted Baillieu. Of course, we've got Ted. Now, Ted's idea is to offer $1 million for someone to redesign Flinders Street Station. Okay, don't know how that's going to work. Who else we got? We've got the Greens. Or should I say the Reds? But I digress. I'll handle that in another session. The Greens are busy worrying about who they're going to get into bed with next. And they don't care as long as they get in. Is there any hope? Yes, there is. But it's not with our current set of leaders. It's with you. It's with you, the people, to finally stand up, to go forth and do the right thing. We've had enough, and we believe the best leaders are yet to come. Well, in this session of The Right Perspective, we're going to show you one of the tools that our governments use, state and federal tools. It's known as a lot of things. It's known as spin. It's known as communications. It's known as media control. But in the whole scheme of things, it's one thing. It's called propaganda. Propaganda. What is it? It's any type of communication that is aimed at influencing you. That's what propaganda is. In reality, there's only two ways to say something. The truth or not the truth. And that's where propaganda comes in. Propaganda was a great tool that the socialists used way back, World War I, World War II. If you look at Hitler, Hitler will show that he loved propaganda so much that he made a minister for it. Goebbels. Stalin used propaganda like a broadsword. Posters, flyers, news media. He even tried to rewrite history. Now that is the history of propaganda. Now we've defined propaganda. Let's look at how they do it, shall we? Propaganda, what they tell you, because they don't want you to know the truth. Well, they use selective facts. They don't tell you everything. Do you ever wonder about law and enforcement numbers? Things that are missing and that are there? It's called selective facts. It comes under propaganda. Loaded messages. Global warming, carbon tax, things like that. Diversion. Don't answer the questions. Have a look at the press conferences of our politicians. Use it all the time. My favourite, appeals. Appeals to emotion. We need water. Desal plant. The climate's warming. Pink bats. We need schools and educations. BER. All comes under propaganda. One of my favourites, lies and half-truths. Half-truths is just really a lie, isn't it? Well, what has Gillard done recently? Remember, there will be no carbon tax under my government. Now what's he going to do? Carbon tax comes under propaganda. It is deliberate. It's a deliberate tool. And of course there's overload. Now this is a good one that they're famous for as well. They will keep throwing stuff at you, and the press and you can't concentrate on one thing. It's a propaganda agenda. There are other ways to use propaganda, but these are mostly the bulk of them. Now, thanks to the wonderful article in the Herald Sun on Sunday the 17th of October by Peter Rolfe and Simon Kearney, we know a little bit more about John Brumby's propaganda machine. I'm going to show you a little bit about it now. Propaganda, Brumby style, ALP style. Did you know he has at least 782 staff in his propaganda machine? He has media advisors. In fact, he has media watchers. Wouldn't that be a good job? Just to look at the media. What are they looking for? Are they looking at me? Are they going to look at this? I don't know. But that's what they do. 782 staff. What is the cost of this machine? There it is. $70 million per annum. Per annum. That's what it costs. How do they enrich your life in any way, shape or form? They don't. It is pure spin. They will talk about it as communications, media management, so forth. It is pure spin. If our politicians, our leaders would tell the truth, stand behind the truth, we wouldn't need this. But there's a very, very important concept that you need to know when we talk about government policy and costings, and that's called opportunity cost. Now, I'm not going to give you the economic definition. I'm not going to take you down the economic road. I'm going to give you a common sense definition of it. Put simply, what else could we have spent the money on? That is opportunity cost. And I'm going to show you an example right now. Opportunity cost, Brumby style. Now, we've just been told by those wonderful authors from the Herald Sun that the cost of the Brumby machine, the propaganda machine, is $70 million per annum. 70 million. Did you know the average wage of a police officer at the junior level is around $70,000 per annum? Now you can probably see where I'm going with this. It's not, you don't need a brain surgeon to work this out. Some things are quite simple. Put simply, if we don't do this, we take away the machine and we do this, we could have 1,000 full-time police officers on the street. Now we have a law and order problem here. Just look at the papers every Sunday, every Monday, the violence that happens in our cities and around them. It's no question we need more police. Here's the funding. Hey Ted from the Liberals, mate, if you're looking for something to get attention, here's a policy. Forget about the Flinders Street station. No one cares about redoing the Flinders Street station, but they care about safety. So here's a fully funded election promise. Now, I'm pretty sure all Victorians have had enough of government spin. In fact, all Australians have. Victoria have an election coming up. We can't just sit back and whinge and whine anymore. What can you do? Well, you can ask your leaders, your politicians who you want to vote for, what do they think about this? Are they for the propaganda machine or against? I don't care what politician you talk to, Liberals, ALP, Greens, what do they think about the propaganda machine? What are they going to do about it personally? If you can't find anyone worthy of your vote, don't give it to them. Better still, let them know you're not going to give it to them. Email them. Call them. It doesn't matter how you get in contact with them, just do. Let them know you exist. If they're not the politician for you and you can't find anyone to do it, maybe you're the politician we're looking for. Maybe you're just the type of person who won't use this, who won't use propaganda, who has something to say, and perhaps you should be there. Because goodness knows the current set is useless. Is useless. I think we can all agree on that. A great president of the United States said, when people fear the government, there's tyranny. When the government fear the people, there is liberty. That president was Thomas Jefferson, and it rings true today. Okay, that's the end of our first episode. Coming soon, we're going to talk about a number of issues, including socialism, what it means, who's doing it, who are the players, We're going to discuss the free market, that evil thing, what it does, what it means for you, and I'm going to show you with basic economics why the free market is good. Remember, knowledge is power, but only if you use it. I'm Justin, and you've been watching The Right Perspective.